Okay, friends, it's time to talk about Barbie. I already did my reaction to this, so heads up, spoiler warning, in effect. Glittery, spoiler warning, all the shoes. We're going to talk about all the shoes. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about a lot of the themes actually in this movie and some of the story and where it goes. And just... yeah, there's a lot of things to talk about. Honestly, I think I want to start with the writing. So one of the things that I think is really interesting about Barbie is I can already easily see it being such a rewatchable movie for me. It just feels like I already want to watch it again. And it feels to me like it's going to become a comfort movie, like how Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy has been at times. And this movie is kind of very similar to me in the sense that they're both very zany feeling narratives. That are very sort of tongue-in-cheek, very self-aware pieces of work. Also, I don't know if people really didn't like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I am also a huge fan of the books. I really liked that movie, and I wish there was more of them, but I don't know how that one... How did Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy actually do? Hitchhikers? I gotta know. Was it good? Where are people at with it? Oh yeah, it's not terribly rated. It's looking good. IMDb has it at 6.7. Let's see. Rotten Tomatoes. 60%. Okay, so it could be better on Rotten Tomatoes. Box office success? Ah, it did pretty good. It grossed over 100 million worldwide. So I feel like that's pretty good. So I guess, but critically lukewarm. We're lukewarm on it. Anyways. I just wanted to say that a lot of the zaniness in this movie reminds me of Hitchhiker's Guide in a really good way. And I really love the writing, and I think that's what's going to make me often come back to it. That and Margot Robbie's performance in this was freaking stellar. Like, wow, 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 wow. So was Ryan Gosling as well. Actually, I felt like the both of them were great, and watching them play off each other was also really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. I really loved Alan as well. Michael Cera as Alan was actually hilarious. The one thing that I take an issue with is that it does feel at times a bit heavy-handed in terms of some of the feminist themes. But that being said, I also feel like it works considering we're in this fantasy world where everything kind of feels very cookie cutter, and where the real world is just kind of like creeping in. So it made me okay with the fact that sometimes it feels very like in your face a little bit with the feminism, with like literally them fighting the patriarchy basically, which has like corrupted the Kens. However, let's talk a bit about this story. So the story in the film is that Barbie basically starts having these thoughts of death and feels not so good. Her feet become flat. She starts to get cellulite. Yikes. And I love that it was cellulite. I gotta just say, I love that it was cellulite because it's like, oh no, that's like ruining this feminine idea of like who you are. But at the same time, like getting cellulite is such a human thing. Like everyone gets it. Like, and women too definitely get it. And yet it is this thing of like, it's not acceptable for women to have cellulite. It just made me laugh so hard. But she gets all weird. So she goes to see Weird Barbie, who is played by Kate McKinnon, who is also amazing in this. I love how she's permanently stuck in the splits, and that just like keeps coming up. And she's also kind of creepy. It's really cool. I love all the Barbies and their approach to them. Very, very fun. So she goes to Weird Barbie. Weird Barbie basically says that it has to do with a connection with whoever's playing with her in the real world. So she has to go to the real world, find the little girl that's playing with her, and then like fix the scenario. Along the way, Ken is a stowaway. Ryan Gosling's Ken decides to come with her. They end up in the real world. He ends up going on his own little journey and discovering what the patriarchy is and being like, oh my gosh, we could be like running Barbie Land. Like it doesn't have to be Barbie Land. Whereas Barbie basically goes on this journey where she discovers that Barbie is not great and did not fix the world and actually maybe created more problems for the world. Mattel ends up getting a hold of her, and then she has to escape, and in the end she makes some friends and takes them back to the real world. And the woman that she befriends is also the woman who has been playing with her. We thought it was her daughter, but dun dun dun, it was actually her, which I gotta say was actually a really cool twist. Gloria, I think her name is. Oh my gosh. Who also gets like a really freaking amazing monologue at the end of this movie, but we're skipping ahead. So yeah, Gloria basically started playing with the dolls because she was feeling distant with her daughter and she wanted to reconnect. So she plays with the dolls and gets a sense of you know, connection. And as soon as we saw Gloria, I thought that the kid that we've seen sort of in the flashbacks when Margot Robbie's Barbie, stereotypical Barbie, starts to sort of feel the emotions of whoever's playing with her, I knew it was going to be Gloria. But the thing I wasn't expecting, the twist that I liked, was that it didn't have to do with Sasha not liking Barbie anymore. It actually had to do with Gloria feeling unfulfilled in some ways in her life and just feeling sad. And she was the one playing with the Barbie. And that I was not expecting. I thought that was a really cool twist, actually. So they end up going back to Barbie Land, and Barbie takes them there because she's like, oh, I know how to fix this. Like, if you come back to Barbie Land, you'll get to see like how beautiful everything is. It'll give you like faith, and then like you'll be fixed. You'll be good. So I'll just bring you back to Barbie Land, which she does, only to find that Ken has already returned and that he is already brainwashing people with the patriarchy. And in the end, the Barbies have to get unbrainwashed and fix everything by remembering their power, and then basically distracting the Kens by making them fight each other, which is, I thought it was also pretty hilarious because everyone always says that that's like the patriarchy like tactic of, you know, we just make women, we pit women against each other so that they'll never realize that really we're the ones pushing them down, in terms of like how a patriarchy can work and has methods to sort of safeguard it. So I kind of liked that they deployed like that tactic as kind of like a joke at just like how the patriarchy tries to do that to people. And then the Kens fought, and so they missed their own election, and so the Barbies were able to make sure that the patriarchy did not take over, and Barbie Land got to stay Barbie Land instead of becoming Ken Land. And that was good, I think. That was a really cool like ending. We also get a really awesome monologue in there where Gloria basically deprograms the Barbies by saying this monologue just about like what it's like to be a woman. And I thought it was all really, really fun. The one thing that I felt like we could have spent more time on that I really actually enjoyed was sort of Ken's journey, actually. I found it really interesting how he goes into the real world, finds the patriarchy, brings it back, and we kind of deal with the fact of like where that's coming from with him is this feeling of insignificance. Like he just wants to be seen by Barbie, but Barbie doesn't see him as he wants to be seen. And I don't know, I guess just in a way, I felt kind of not just even bad for Ken. Like I felt like I kind of at times empathized with Ken. Like this guy who's sort of being brainwashed by this concept, and how it makes him sometimes blind to how he's like hurting these other people that he's supposed to love, the Barbies, right? I just found that really interesting. And I just thought there were moments in that journey where I kind of saw some of my own journeys in it. And I mean, maybe that is the power of Barbie. Like what I really hope for this movie is that everybody goes to the theater and really sees themselves in all of the characters, because I think that would make for probably one of the most powerful feminist films like we've ever had. Just a film where we can all kind of identify with everyone and all have a good time and enjoy something. And I think Barbie is seemingly on its way to doing that. However, I also did notice when I looked it up on Google before I jumped on here to do this review that the reviews are very seemingly divided, at least on Google. There was like a lot of really positive reviews and a lot of really negative reviews. So I don't know if that's because it's also maybe getting review bombed, or just genuinely there are people that are really not feeling it. Let me know what you think of Barbie in the comments below. But I gotta say, there's a few other things I want to talk about. I really just want to talk about how strong the music was in this movie. The original music, the non-original music. This is like an amazing soundtrack. So even if you don't know if you'll like Barbie, I would encourage you to listen to the soundtrack. And also, I don't think I can play it. I'm just going to bring it up on Spotify right now. I don't know if I can play it, but they got a song from my girl Charlie XCX, who I love so much. And of course, it's a song about driving, and it's the song that they play in the Getaway. I'm going to play it for you now, but I'm not going to say anything because we probably can't use this audio anyways. Okay, anyways, that was 48 seconds of that probably can't be used. But I just needed to groove to it because it's so good. So it's called Speed Drive. It's by Charlie XCX. And man, when this song played and I heard Charlie in the background, it just made me feel so good in the theater. Wow. I think ultimately what this movie is for me is it's really just like quite a feel-good film. Like it really will take your spirits and I feel like do something magical to them and hopefully lift them up as it has lifted mine. The production design in this film is also amazing. If production design and costumes for this film do not get a bunch of nominations, I'm gonna like lose my mind because it just is so well done and I'm so impressed. Like I knew it was gonna be good, but like dang, it's so good. So yeah, I guess just really on every level, I feel like this film is really strong. And the other final thing that I just really want to touch on that I think is important when we're talking about this movie is the marketing. So the marketing for this film has been phenomenal. And I think it's really important that we acknowledge that, because when you don't market films, which we might see what's about to happen, because we're about to have some movies come out that unfortunately didn't really get to be marketed because of the strikes, because actors weren't able to go on press tours and do all of that stuff that's involved in the marketing process. And just there's some films coming out that just don't seem like they've really been marketed at all in general. I'm not even talking about a press tour where actors can't come. But I'm interested to see the contrast between those two things, because I feel like when you really market something, you really got to deliver. But at the same time, it's how people know about your movie so they can go to it. So if you don't market at all, it's like, well, people might not go see your movie. But if you market like too much, then people might go see your movie, but then it's like lackluster. So then they feel like there was all this hype and then they were disappointed. I was about to say the names of some movies, but I'm not going to be sassy today. So I won't be sassy, Barbie. I'll be nice, Barbie. So for the Barbie film, the marketing for this was amazing. And honestly, the other day I noticed they just took over Google. So when you like, or actually, is it still taken over? Hold on. Yeah, when you Google Barbie, it turns all of Google pink. Even in dark mode, it's all pink, dark pink. That is beyond. I can't even. That is beyond. That is so cool. Never mind the marketing too. Like I just feel like the marketing team has done an amazing job. And the other thing that they've really done well, or maybe this already existed just around the brand, is that Barbie has become this phenomenon that's really all about inclusivity, positivity, love, and just having fun together. And really, I think it has been all-encompassing. I love that Barbie is this doll that has these unattainable measurements, and yet she has become, in 2023, I never would have guessed, sort of a poster child for like, love yourself as you are. Be you, and that's enough. Barbie. I would have never guessed that. And I think that's so beautiful about this movie and this phenomenon that we're experiencing. And I think the other thing is that it's just, you know, it's powerful because it basically has become that. Barbie has become a phenomenon. And I don't know if that's just from years of history and this has been happening slowly, and now with this movie, it's like we're seeing it culminate, or if this is actually because of the film and how much of this has to do with the way it was marketed to sort of be this inclusive, positive, fun, cute film. But I just want to say I'm really grateful for that. And I've really loved being a part of the Barbie world. And I hope we get to take this energy, this Kenergy, and return to it now and then. And that this will be a movie that people will come back to remind themselves about how we can all exist together and love each other and just like be Barbie. Like, what would Barbie do? I think I'm going to leave you with that, friends. I'm going to stick with what I said for the reaction. 8 Barbies out of 10, I think, is very strong. And over time, I'm curious to see how this movie ages and if it will be even more beloved maybe in 10 years. Could be interesting. Until next time, friends, stay nerdy and like love yourself, okay? Do it for me.